Good morning. Time to make the coffee. Today's flavor is pecan pie, and it's going to be 45 degrees. And it rained. It looks like it might clear up though. I'm not sure about that, but no work in the garden. It's too wet. But I have a lot of things to do inside that will keep me busy. So the projects continue. I still haven't started on that closet or on my plant room. I have to get busy with that before the garden takes off. So I'm pretty much done with my garden plans and what seeds I'm going to plant. I'm still going to try some of the winter sowing, even though in another day it'll be March. It's very confusing out there in YouTube land. All kinds of different ways to do things. I guess there's no one right way or one wrong way to do these things. So I guess you just have to try it and see what works best for you. I think it's like that with most things in life. You have to try different things until you find what you're comfortable with and what works for you. I think one of the big problems in life is most of us, me included, you're afraid to try things because you're afraid you're going to fail. But that doesn't matter. If you do fail, you just keep trying until you get it right. Most people try things, they fail, and they give up. And then they never reach their goal. So I think it's a good thing to fail once in a while. As long as life and limb isn't lost, what's the harm in trying again? Right? So let's give this coffee a try. Cheers. Yes, that's good. A piece of pumpkin pie actually sounds really good, but I don't have any. And I'm not making any, and I'm not going to buy any. I think today is the last day of February, so I'm hoping to make it another no-spend. And then at the end of the month, I can tally up how many days I spent, how many days I didn't spend, and if I'm making progress. Like I said, for me, it's not how much I spend necessarily. Not that I have unlimited funds, because I don't. I'm talking about within reason. But the random spending has to come to an end. And I'm getting there. So anyway, let's go check my budget book and see if I'm making progress or if I failed. And if I failed, I'll just keep trying. Okay, yesterday I get a green check. I didn't spend any money yesterday. This morning when I got up, my microwave light is burned out. So eventually I have to go out and get a new light bulb. So, but I'm not going to do that today. I'd like to finish out the rest of February, if I can, with another green check. So hopefully that'll happen unless the day progresses and something goes awry. I can't think of anything that I would need other than the microwave light bulb, which I can wait for. But oh, hello. Oh, you have a hairdo there. I'm being inundated with doggies. Sorry if I made you dizzy. This is very important finance information here that I have to get back to. Okay. So anyway, I'm hoping to finish the day out, or the month out, by not spending today. So we'll see. All right, how are you guys doing? Are you saving money, or it's not even an issue? You have no interest? That's okay too. We all have to do what we need to do. So I'm taking this as one day at a time, spending or not spending. But I think at the end of the month, even if I were to spend today, I would still do better this month than I did last month, because I had way fewer spending days. I spent a lot of days last month compared to this month. So, progress. Now, it's not my goal not to spend any money for a whole month. If that happens, that would be great. But life goes on, and we all have expenses. Now, this does not include my bills, my regular bills. This is just random spending. Things that I would buy on Amazon, that I would go buy at Mark's or Ollie's or any of Walmart. It does include groceries, any expenditures that aren't bills. Give me a red X. So, and then I track what I bought so that I can look back on it and, say, no, I should not have spent money on that, or yes, I was justified to spend money on this. So, okay, that's the way I'm doing things. It seems to be working out okay. And hopefully I won't spend any money today either. This was my starter last night before I stirred it down. Notice the hooch at the bottom, but it rose more than double. Well, it's time to feed the sourdough. As you can see, it rose again, and I stirred it down last night. It was up to here. So it's very active. And this here is hooch. It's perfectly normal if you get that on your starter. The only thing you have to be concerned about at this point is that you don't get any mold on top, which I don't have any, but you can see how active it is with all the bubbles. But my starter, I feel like it's too thin. So what I want to do is thicken it up a little bit, and tomorrow I'm going to discard some of this. Today I'm just going to feed it. So I'm going to use a scale this time. If you don't have a scale, that's okay. Just, carry on the way you've been carrying on if you're making a starter. So I'm going to turn that on, and I have it set on grams. There we go. All right, so I have a 1/4 cup of flour. I'm going to continue with that. But the first thing I'm going to do is stir this up. You can see how nice it is, but it's pretty thin. I want to get it a little bit more substantial. It should be like pancake batter. So today I'll add the flour and just a little bit less water. It's not an exact science. The more research I do about sourdough, the more I realize that it is not an exact science. There's so many different ways that you can do sourdough. I mean, some people just, it's got to be down to the nitty-gritty, but I don't like anything that fussy. So, and what I want to do, I want to make a starter with where I don't have to discard, because the last time I had starter, that was one of the reasons I stopped doing it, because I had to keep adding more and more and more flour, and it was just getting to be too much. So I'm going to switch over the camera, and I'm going to feed this. I don't mind my dishes, they're clean, but I have to put them away. Alright, so 1/4 cup of flour is going in. And like I said, tomorrow I am going to discard. Oh, and of course it shut off. So let me try that again. Well, it's saying that's 1 gram. Well, that's not right. Okay, never mind. We'll skip the scale. This is why I don't like cooking in grams and all that. It's too much bother with the scale. So I'm going to go ahead and just stir this flour in. And it's still pretty thin. So I'm only going to add a little bit of water. I probably wouldn't even have to add any water. I don't know. I mean, it feeds off the flour, not off the water. So I think I'm just going to call that good for now, because it's still thin. And to make a good starter, it takes at least a week. I'm going to keep working on this for 10 days. And today is day 4. So I may feed this again later on. I'm not sure. I want to see what it does. Because usually they say when it starts getting hooch that it needs to be fed. So I could even actually put a little more flour in here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get a little more flour. Okay, I have about another 1/8 of a cup. It's looking better, but I think it needs a little bit more. I don't want to put like 1/2 a cup in there, but it's just too thin. But it is very active. It's, you know, bubbling away, which is a really good sign. So it's getting better, a little bit more. You don't want it too thick either, because it's a very young starter and I don't know if it'll bubble up. And I guess some people bake with a thin starter, but I want something a little thicker. Alright, a little bit more. Alright, so that was about another 1/8 of a cup, and that's much better. It's supposed to be like pancake batter, so I think that's good. And I'm going to keep an eye on this today. Let it sit some more, see what it does, and you want to get a lot of air incorporated into it because the little beasties in there need it. And see, this is getting pretty full, so tomorrow I'm going to discard at least 1/2 of it. And then after you get it established, you don't have to discard it all anymore. But while you're doing it, you do have to do a little bit of discard. Alright, so I think I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to raise my rubber band to the line so that I can see if it rises. And it's kind of chilly in here, so you know, it's not like it's a really warm, humid day. So, okay, day 4 of the sourdough starter. I'm going to loosely put this little lid on, And this is just a candle jar. So I didn't even need any water today. I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, and another thing you want to do to lessen the chance of mold, you want to scrape down all this stuff on the sides. So just take a rubber spatula and clean it up. You don't want to leave it like that. So it's best if you have a straight jar of some sort to store your starter in, as opposed to something with a lot of nooks and crannies. So okay, I'm going to put it back to bed and call that good for this morning, and then I'm going to do some cleaning up because I've got a mess going here. So I'll be back later. Breakfast this morning is noodles and eggs. I had some leftover pasta. They're egg noodles, and I have a couple bananas left. So just trying to use up what I have and trying not to go shopping at the store. Okay, I'm getting ready to try out my kitchen waste composter. I have it filled to the fill line. There's all sorts of things in there. Sweet potato peels, eggshells, banana peels. Lizzie thinks she needs to have that. Whatever scraps I accumulated for the week, they're all in there. And it's pretty full now. So it looks like it's pretty easy to operate. Let's see if I can get this focused here. Sorry about the poor camera work. But anyway, I guess you lock it. Now it's locked. And then you just hit the on button. And now it's in the drying mode. It's going to dry. It's very quiet. And we'll see how long it takes. It's about 11 o'clock now. And we'll see how the compost turns out. Alright, if it works, I'm going to like it. Okay, I have some veggies here that are going to be going bad. There. And you're not going to believe this. My microwave has the same issue again. So if it's just the switch, I'll replace it again. I mean, sometimes you do get bad stuff. So, but I'm very happy I have my other microwave there. So it's not a disaster, and I can do that at my leisure. So I have some, I had a couple sweet potatoes that were like on the way out, and I'm very glad I'm done with the sweet potatoes. I like sweet potatoes somewhat. They're not my very favorite thing. So that last flash food box had a lot of them. Here I also dragged this out of the freezer. It's been in there for a very long time, and it's pureed pumpkin. So I'm going to put that in the soup. I'm making a soup, and I'm going to cook it in the Instant Pot. Mine is actually a Kasori. It's a knockoff of the Instant Pot, and I think it works just great. So I have some carrots here that are on the way out, an onion that's starting to go bad, and I'm already collecting stuff for the composter from this stuff for the next round, because right now it's doing its thing. So I also have this big bag of peppers that I need to do something with. I'll probably end up, I'd like to pickle some of them, and some of them I'll probably just freeze. So I'm going to cut all this up, add some seasonings and cook up a soup for tonight. Okay, so in this pot I have about a heaping teaspoon of garlic, couple peppers, enough for like that makes maybe half a bell pepper. I have about 4 carrots, they were small. I have an onion, sweet potato, pumpkin puree. So that's what's in here. And these are all random things I had just around the house. Now my seasoning is, I have half a teaspoon of Tony Chachere's for a little kick. I have 2 teaspoons of ground cumin and half a teaspoon of ground turmeric. I'm going to also add half a teaspoon of paprika. Leave that out if you don't like it. I know some people don't like some of these spices, so whatever you don't like, leave out. I'm going to put half a teaspoon of rosemary. And I'm going to put about half a teaspoon of curry powder. If you don't like that, leave that out. This is just to clean up my kitchen soup, my refrigerator. So those are my spices that I'm using. And I've never tried this before, but this is the whey that I had from my yogurt. And it's a little tangy, so I think it would go pretty well with all the sweet potato stuff going on. I'm going to add it to my soup. It's got a lot of nutrients in it. Now, heating it in the pressure cooker is obviously going to kill off any yogurt bacteria, but I want to give this a try. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add my spices to it, just to blend them up. And then I'm going to add some chicken bouillon, not chicken, but chicken flavored bouillon. And I'm going to also add, I think, a little soy sauce for some added flavor. Now, if this is too tart, but it's not very tart because I don't like my yogurt that way. And then I will add maybe a little bit of sugar, but I have to taste it because this is going to be a blended soup. It's not going to be a chunky soup. So okay, I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of this not chicken seasoning. Well, maybe I'll start out with 1 heaping, and then I'm going to taste it, see if it needs more, because I also want to add water to this. So I'm going to fill this up with water. That'll make it, and this holds 4 cups. So, well, I'll just put this in first, and then I'll add water. And this will distribute the spices throughout so I don't get a clump of anything anywhere in particular. Alright, now I'm going to fill this up with water, and this is, I think, 2 cups. So I want to make sure I get all that flavor in the soup. Alright, and that's just enough. Okay, that's the fill line. I don't want to overfill it. So I'm going to stir this up, and then I'm going to cook it under pressure for about 20-25 minutes. I want to make sure everything's nice and soft. So I'll probably go with 25. And we'll see how it turns out, because I plan on using the immersion blender on this, and then also adding some kind of cream. Now coconut cream would be good, but I already have some creamer, like a half and half, non-dairy half and half in the refrigerator that I want to use up. So I'll probably end up using that. Let me taste this. That's good. I am going to add a little soy sauce though. Okay, so I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of soy sauce. And then I'm also going to add a little pepper. And you can always add more salt and pepper when it's done cooking. You know, that's the nice thing about soup. If it's too strong, you add more water. If it's not strong enough, you add more seasoning. And you can do that even at the end of the cooking time. So, okay, I think that'll be good. It's got a lot of flavor. I think I'm going to like it. And I used up my whey, so that didn't get wasted either. All right, I will be back later and we'll finish. All right, I have all these peppers, the mini peppers. I got them at the Flash Food sale quite a while ago, and they need to be, something needs to be done with them. So out of these, I'm going to put these in my homemade pickle juice in the fridge and make them into pickled peppers. And these over here I'm going to dehydrate, and then I'm going to powder them up and make them into a spice mix. And then here I have all my kitchen waste that I'm going to be putting into my composter. And I'm hoping the batch that's in there is going to turn out well. So I have all these carrots here too that I just sprayed with vinegar and water. And then I'm going to wrap them in a paper towel and put them in one of these green bags, but I'm going to leave the bag open. I find with carrots they do much better if you leave the bag open as opposed to sealing it up. All right, so saving money, trying not to throw anything away. But I'll tell you, since I got the kitchen composter, I don't feel as bad if I have an onion or something that goes bad. It'll go right into feeding my new plants. All right, well, here's my dinner for tonight. Sweet potato, pumpkin, and carrot soup. That's a little dollop of yogurt on top there with green onions, and just a tossed salad. So I think that looks refreshing and pretty darn good. Using up what I have, and I'm glad those sweet potatoes are finally used up. So I still have quite a bit of soup left. I'll freeze some, and I'll probably eat one more serving. And my sourdough starter is starting to bubble up, so that's a good thing. At least that's working. So, all right, I'm going to eat my dinner, and then I'll be back in a little bit to wrap things up. Chat and wrap things up, but somebody took my chair. Did you take my chair? You going to wrap things up? Yeah? You going to wrap things up for the people? All right, well, I'll be back in a minute. Oh, I am pooped. I got a lot done today, but it was a very frustrating day. My composter, that was operator error, so I restarted it because I had a paper towel in there and it got stuck under the chopper, and I thought it was done because it was beeping, but it wasn't done. So, read the directions. So anyway, it was not done. So I had to just kind of redo the whole thing. So now it's going again. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. So I did a lot of cooking again today. And I'm really getting tired of cooking. So at least I have food for a few days now, and I don't have to cook much of anything, so that's good. Because when I have a day in the kitchen like that, I just don't get anything else done. So I made the pickles. Let's see, how did I save money today? All right, today I saved money by making my own pickles and using up my produce. I saved money by tending to my sourdough starter. Let's see. And there's a couple of pak choy seeds that are already starting to sprout a little bit. I'm going to give them a couple more days, and then I'm going to have to plant them in little cups. So I'm saving money, I guess, by planting my own food. Sometimes I wonder, but actually a lot of those seeds were seeds that I saved from last year. So that's actually very money saving. So I did that, and I saved money by using up my flash food produce. I used it all up. And now I want to save money by cooking more out of my freezer. So I still have salad fixings, and that's nice because I do like to have a salad every now and then with my dinner. So I'll eat those up, and I'm dehydrating some of the peppers, and some of the other peppers I put into my pickled vegetables. So I'm saving money by doing that because if you buy those in the store, they're expensive. So, and the peppers were from Flash Food. So anyway, that's how I saved money today, and I didn't spend money, and at least so far. And that's about all I have for you today, my friends. So I want to wish you abundant blessings. I love you guys. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless you. And I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, comment, and like. Thanks for watching.